There's a certain kind of woman who doesn't chase attention, yet she seems to magnetize it. She doesn't compete, she simply is, and somehow that's enough to make a man fall for her faster than he ever expected. Maybe you've seen her, the woman who walks into a room and without saying a word, captures every gaze. She doesn't need to be the loudest, the most glamorous, or even the most traditionally beautiful. But there's something about her that draws people in, something quiet, mysterious, and powerful. That something isn't luck, and it isn't manipulation. It's feminine energy in its truest form. Not the surface level kind that's all about looks or flirting, but the deeper essence of what it means to embody grace, depth, and emotional presence. In this video, I want to speak directly to you, woman to woman. Because the truth is, every single one of us has that same power within. It's just that for so many of us, the noise of modern life has made us forget it. We've been taught to chase, to prove, to harden ourselves to survive. But in doing so, we sometimes disconnect from the part of us that is most magnetic. Our softness, our intuition, our self-worth. So today I'm going to walk you through the 7 truths that explain why men fall fast for some women, and how you can awaken those same qualities within yourself. Not to manipulate anyone's feelings, but to remember who you are beneath the armor. If you're ready to rediscover your feminine power, to attract love that feels safe and real, and to do it all without pretending or performing, then stay with me until the end. And if this message resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe. This space is for women who are ready to rise with grace, not by becoming someone else, but by coming home to themselves. Now let's begin. 1. She knows her worth without needing validation. There's a kind of energy that radiates from a woman who truly knows her worth. It's calm, steady, and unshakable, like the ocean at dawn. She doesn't prove, perform, or over-explain. She simply knows. A woman rooted in her self-worth moves differently. She's not desperate for attention because she already has her own. When a man meets her, he feels something rare, a groundedness that makes him curious, even protective. It's as if she holds a secret he wants to understand. This isn't arrogance, it's self-respect. And self-respect is magnetic because it's so uncommon. We live in a world that rewards loudness and constant self-promotion, where validation has become a form of currency. But the woman who can smile quietly and know she is enough, without posting it, proving it, or seeking confirmation, has a kind of allure that cannot be faked. Think of Queen Esther from ancient scripture, or Cleopatra in her prime. Both were known not just for beauty, but for presence, for a knowing that they were valuable beyond measure. Esther didn't chase the king's attention. She prepared herself inwardly. Cleopatra was educated, emotionally intelligent, and strategic, blending intellect with allure. They both understood that a woman's power lies not in how loudly she demands attention, but in how deeply she embodies self-assurance. So ask yourself, where are you still seeking permission to feel worthy? Is it in the eyes of a man, in the validation of your friends, or in the number of likes you receive? Because the moment you stop waiting for the world to tell you you're enough is the moment the world begins to notice you differently. Self-worth doesn't shout, it glows. It's that quiet confidence that whispers, I belong here. I am whole. I am already chosen. Men fall fast for women who exude this kind of peace. Not because she's unattainable, but because her energy tells him she won't be completed by him. And that's irresistible. A man wants to feel needed, yes, but he also wants to feel he's with someone who doesn't lose herself in love. And when a woman loves herself deeply, she doesn't cling. She chooses. Remember this, you teach others how to love you by the way you love yourself. 2. She radiates warmth, not performance. There's a huge difference between a woman who's trying to be desirable and one who simply is. You can feel it instantly. One seeks to impress, the other seeks to connect. The first energy feels tense, calculated, and a little bit anxious. The second feels open, grounded, and effortless. That's the power of authentic warmth. Warmth is the essence of feminine attraction. It's what turns attention into affection. Men might notice a woman for her looks, but they fall for her heart, her softness, her ability to make them feel safe, seen, and human again. When a man meets a woman who radiates warmth, his defenses lower, his ego relaxes. For the first time in a long time, he feels like he doesn't have to perform either. And that's where emotional intimacy begins. Warmth doesn't come from pretending to be perfect. It comes from being present, from listening with your eyes, not just your ears, from smiling in a way that says, I see you, not please see me. Think of feminine archetypes like the nurturer or the muse. They don't use their energy to control. They use it to inspire. Their presence soothes chaos without suppressing passion. Their energy invites others to exhale. Psychologists often talk about emotional contagion, how our energy affects those around us. A warm woman changes the temperature of a room without saying a word. Her softness doesn't make her weak, it gives others permission to drop their armor too. In a world where so many people lead with guardedness, genuine warmth is revolutionary. And the beauty is, it doesn't have to be loud or bubbly. It can be quiet, like gentle kindness, or simple eye contact that makes someone feel understood. But to radiate warmth authentically, you must feel safe within yourself first. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give tenderness when your own heart is in survival mode. That's why inner healing is such a vital part of feminine attraction. When you nurture your own inner world through rest, creativity, prayer, journaling, nature, or solitude, you naturally become a source of comfort to others. The warmth you give starts with the warmth you cultivate within. So ask yourself, when was the last time you let yourself slow down and just be? When was the last time you felt safe in your own presence? You don't attract through perfection, you attract through presence. A woman who embodies warmth reminds a man of peace, and men fall fast for peace in a world that constantly demands performance. 3. She balances mystery with openness. Mystery is one of the oldest forms of allure, but it's often misunderstood. Some women think mystery means playing games or withholding affection, but real mystery isn't about manipulation, it's about depth. It's about having a soul that cannot be entirely seen at once, a sense that there's always something more to discover. A mysterious woman doesn't reveal every thought or emotion the moment she feels it. She allows moments to breathe. She shares parts of herself slowly, intentionally, and with discernment. She understands that intimacy is built over time, not demanded in an instant. Men fall for this kind of woman because she awakens their curiosity. She gives him a sense of wonder, not confusion. There's a difference. Confusion frustrates, but curiosity captivates. Think of the way Greek philosophers wrote about beauty and virtue, as something not meant to be grasped entirely, but to be pursued. Or the way the poet Rumi described the beloved, as both known and unknowable. The most magnetic women throughout history have embodied that duality. Audrey Hepburn, for example, was elegant and soft-spoken, yet her words carried a weight of wisdom. She never tried to be mysterious. She simply was because she valued privacy and depth. She had an inner world, and you could feel it. The secret here is to build a life so full, so textured, that there are layers to you. Hobbies that make your soul come alive. Passions that have nothing to do with love. Friendships, faith, creativity, curiosity. All of it becomes the tapestry of your feminine mystery. A man who senses you are not waiting around for him to define your life feels compelled to earn his way into it. He wants to explore your world, not just inhabit it. Ask yourself, do you give everything away too quickly? Your time, your emotions, your story, hoping someone will finally stay? Or do you allow space for desire to grow, for the other person to meet you halfway? Mystery is not a strategy, it's a reflection of self-containment. It's the quiet power of knowing that the most interesting parts of you cannot be seen, only felt. When you cultivate your inner world, you stop needing to chase attention because attention starts chasing you. 4. She embodies emotional maturity. If there's one thing that separates women men date from women men commit to, it's emotional maturity. And it's not just about staying calm during arguments, it's about how you navigate your emotions, your needs, and your expectations. A woman with emotional maturity is like a sanctuary. She doesn't explode over small things, but she also doesn't suppress her truth. She communicates directly with grace and clarity. She knows how to say, "This hurt me," without needing to destroy someone in the process. That kind of balance is magnetic because it shows inner strength. It tells a man that he can trust her not just with joy, but with vulnerability. Emotional maturity also means she's not ruled by fear. She doesn't interpret every silence as rejection or every delay as disinterest. She gives space, trusting that what's meant for her will come closer. Not because she's indifferent, but because she's confident in her value. Men fall fast for women who bring peace, not chaos. And peace doesn't come from pretending to be unbothered. It comes from emotional regulation, from knowing how to soothe your own nervous system rather than expecting someone else to do it for you. Carl Jung spoke of the integrated woman, the one who has made peace with her shadow, who no longer projects her unhealed wounds onto others. She doesn't need to be perfect, but she is self-aware. When she's triggered, she reflects before she reacts. When she feels insecure, she asks herself, "What do I need to feel safe right now?" instead of spiraling into blame or overcompensation. That kind of self-awareness is deeply feminine because it's rooted in receptivity, not reactivity. Emotional maturity doesn't make you less passionate. It makes your passion safe. It creates the kind of connection where both people can flourish without fear of being consumed. So pause for a moment and ask yourself, how do you respond when your emotions are challenged? Do you retreat, attack, or reflect? What would it feel like to stand in your feelings with softness rather than control? True femininity isn't about being nice all the time. It's about being authentic, but in a way that's anchored, not explosive. Men fall fast for women who can hold space, for themselves and for others, because that kind of woman is rare. She is the calm in the storm, and love feels safe in her presence. 5. She honors her boundaries like a queen. Boundaries are one of the most misunderstood aspects of feminine power. Some women fear that having boundaries makes them cold or unapproachable. But the truth is, boundaries are the very thing that make warmth sustainable. A woman without boundaries leaks her energy everywhere, saying yes when she means no, forgiving too quickly, overextending herself to prove her worth. Over time, that exhaustion turns into resentment, and resentment dims your radiance faster than anything else. A queen archetype knows her limits. She knows that not everyone deserves access to her energy, her time, or her body. She gives from abundance, not depletion. She doesn't build walls, but she does build gates. And she chooses who gets to enter with discernment. Men fall for women who have standards, because standards communicate self-respect. A woman who can say no with grace is more magnetic than one who says yes out of fear. Boundaries don't make you less feminine. They protect your femininity. They allow you to remain soft without being stepped on, to remain generous without being drained. In modern dating, we often glorify being the cool girl, the one who doesn't care, who's always available, who tolerates inconsistency. But that version of feminine energy is not empowerment. It's emotional self-abandonment dressed up as ease. A man feels safe and deeply drawn to a woman who knows how to honor herself. Because when she does, he subconsciously knows she will also honor him. Her no makes her yes more meaningful. Boundaries also set the tone for emotional polarity. Feminine energy flows, but masculine energy needs direction. Your boundaries are that direction. They tell the world how to love you. So reflect for a moment. Where in your life do you give too much? Where do you silence your intuition to keep peace? Where do you say, "It's fine," when your heart whispers, "It's not"? The woman who honors her boundaries teaches the world that love must rise to meet her, not the other way around. And that, more than anything, is what makes men fall fast. The recognition that she doesn't need him to complete her life, but she's willing to let him complement it. 6. She lives with passion and purpose. There's nothing more magnetic than a woman who is lit from within. She doesn't wait for life to excite her. She creates excitement. She doesn't wait to be chosen. She's already chosen herself. Passion gives a woman color. It animates her. When she talks about what she loves, her eyes shine differently. When she's pursuing her dreams or nurturing her creative fire, her energy expands. And men can feel that expansion instantly. You've probably met someone like this before. Maybe she wasn't conventionally stunning, yet there was something about her, a spark, a sense of aliveness that drew everyone near. That's what passion does. It makes you unforgettable. The Greek philosopher Aristotle once said that pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. A woman living in alignment with her purpose doesn't need external validation because her fulfillment comes from within. She is the embodiment of self-sourced joy. This doesn't mean you have to be working in your dream career or traveling the world. Purpose is not about what you do. It's about how deeply you live what you love. It could be your art, your friendships, your spirituality, your home, your curiosity. When you are connected to your purpose, you stop trying to be interesting, because you already are. You become radiant in a way that no makeup, outfit, or dating strategy can replicate. Men fall for women who are alive, not because they want to steal that light, but because that light reminds them of what's possible. Your passion awakens his own. It inspires him to grow, to dream, to become more. Think of women like Frida Kahlo. Her art was pain and beauty intertwined. Or Maya Angelou, whose purpose transcended her personal story and became a legacy of strength and grace. These women were magnetic because they lived from their souls, not for approval. So ask yourself, what brings you back to life when the world dulls you? What makes you lose track of time? What do you talk about with fire in your voice and tenderness in your eyes? A woman connected to her purpose is a woman who never dims her light for fear of shining too brightly. And when she walks in that light, love doesn't have to be chased. It finds her on the path she was meant to walk. 7. She surrenders. Without losing herself. The word surrender often makes strong women cringe. We've been taught that surrender means weakness, giving up control, being submissive, or losing our power. But true feminine surrender is none of those things. Real surrender is an act of trust. It's knowing when to soften, when to receive, when to let go of the illusion that you have to hold everything together all the time. It's opening your heart while still protecting your peace. A woman who knows how to surrender isn't naive. She's wise. She doesn't surrender to chaos or mistreatment. She surrenders to flow, to divine timing, to love that feels safe and reciprocal. In relationships, this kind of surrender creates space for masculine energy to rise. When a man senses that a woman trusts herself enough to lean back, to let things unfold rather than control them, he feels invited to step into his natural rhythm of leadership and protection. This doesn't mean you silence your voice or shrink your power. It means you trust the process of life enough not to resist every uncertainty. The French writer Anaïs Nin once said, "Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage." Surrender requires courage. It's easy to harden yourself after disappointment, to build walls, to say, "I'll never let that happen again." But it takes true feminine strength to say, "I still believe in love, even if I've been hurt. I still believe in softness, even if the world has made me cold." Men fall fast for women who embody that kind of surrender, because it feels like grace. It feels like peace after a long war. Surrender doesn't erase your boundaries. It honors them. It says, "I trust myself enough to open, because I know I'll walk away if I'm not treated well. That's divine feminine energy. Openness with discernment, softness with self-respect. So take a moment and ask yourself, where in your life are you holding on too tightly? Where could you trust a little more, breathe a little deeper, receive instead of always doing? When you master the art of surrender, love becomes easier, life becomes lighter, and you remember that your power was never in control. It was always in your ability to stay open. Every woman has this magic inside her, the power to draw love not by chasing it, but by being it. The truth is, men don't fall fast for women who try to impress them. They fall for women who make them feel alive, grounded, and safe all at once. It's not a trick. It's not a formula. It's a return. A return to your essence, your self-worth, your natural rhythm. When you embody that kind of femininity, knowing your worth, radiating warmth, balancing mystery with openness, living with emotional maturity, honoring your boundaries, pursuing your passions, and surrendering with grace, you don't just attract love, you inspire it. So as you move forward, remember this. Your softness is not your weakness, it's your superpower. Your sensitivity is not your flaw, it's your gift. Keep blooming even when the world feels harsh. Keep believing even when love feels far away. Because the moment you choose to love yourself with depth and intention, the right kind of love will find its way to you, and it will recognize you instantly. If this message spoke to your heart, remember to subscribe and stay close. There's so much more we'll explore together about feminine energy, emotional power, and the art of becoming the woman you were always meant to be.